Hi again, we're back with Floppy in the last of our series on working with Floppy in his foster period. So today we're talking about reactivity, and it's his reactivity to other dogs, including greyhounds, that first got me involved in helping him. And in this last video in the series, we're going to take a look at that and what we've been doing to work with it. So before we get into Floppy's experience, let's just think about what reactivity is. Essentially, it's an overreaction to a situation, so outside of what might be considered a normal response. And in Floppy's case, that means he gets very agitated and he starts barking. Different dogs might react differently, but that is what he does. This is an emotional response. He's overwhelmed and he doesn't know what to do. Now, there may be an element of excitement in there. There could be an element of prey drive, and it could also be an element of fear. It's really quite hard to tell with this reaction because they can look very similar. And what are we going to do about it? So what have we been doing about it? We need to change how he feels about the situation. So we need to address this at an emotional level. If you try to just suppress the behavior, then nothing changes emotionally. The desire to do it does not go away. It could involve building better impulse control so that seeing other dogs is not such a big deal for him. It could be about boosting his confidence, but we need him ultimately to learn that hearing and seeing other dogs is nothing to get concerned about. We've started this by setting a precedent for calmer walks. So we want to minimize or remove the triggers through management techniques. It's easier and quicker to put management in place than it is to put training in place. So I would always start there. We want to ask how far away we need to stay so he can be calm, and how we manage that, because sometimes the dog is naturally closer and we can't do anything about it. So can you block the view? Can you take a route where there are less likely to be risky situations? Can you change direction and go a different way? How can you manage the route so that overall the walk is calmer as an experience for him and he's not practicing that reactive behaviour? Oh dear. So in Floppy's case, the reaction starts when he hears barking, which is what's got him up now, because the dog just barked someone else's garden. And that is much harder to prevent. So we have to try and change how he feels about the sound of barking, because by the time we see a dog, it's way too late. We need to think about, oh, here he comes. Are you coming back in? You're coming back in now. Now you're finished. Huh? That was very good, actually, wasn't it? That was very good. Are you coming up here then? Come on then. No? So we're working on desensitizing him to the sound of dogs barking, and in fact what you saw just then was actually much better than he has been up until now. A few weeks ago he would have been charging up and down the garden and barking himself at this point. And everything we've done before supports this desensitization, because he is in a better frame of mind to stay calm if something happens. We've built a connection so that he feels safer with me, and body contact can be soothing to him, so we can work with that as well. Oh, now he's off. There we go. He's demonstrating this one for you well. So that's what happens when you see now he is overwhelmed. He's not going to listen to me now. At those early stages he might have been able to respond. Now, no chance, I will have to go down the garden and fetch him. My neighbour's gone in, so the actual trigger's gone away, but he's still agitated by this situation. So this is a great example of what happens when the dog is over threshold. He can no longer listen. If I offered him a treat, he wouldn't want a treat. So the desensitization works by getting him more used to hearing the sounds that wind him up and helping him to not care about them as much. And it takes time, considerably more time than we've had already. However, he does still work better than he did at the start. He would not have coped with that at all in his first few weeks. So we can see some progress, even though it might not look like it to the uninitiated. The other thing we've been doing is teaching him a marker that we use on walks so that he knows a treat is coming. And we can practice this at home, and we can practice this on walks when he's in a calm frame of mind, so that when he hears that sound, he knows a treat will follow it. And this can then be used for counter conditioning, which is about changing how he feels about the situation where he sees another dog. So when the marker is established, we would work such that he sees a dog at a safe distance that he can cope with. We make the marker sound and then we treat. And he then starts to learn that when he sees a dog, he's going to get a treat. And he will be much better doing that than leaping around and barking. We're still in the early stages of this, as you can see, but over time we will work with it with the dogs that we meet on walks. Oh, hello, you're feeling better now. Dogs who are far enough away, and we will start to allow ourselves to get a little bit closer. We will take routes where we might encounter more of them, but it is a very gradual process and one that is going to take time. So that is what we're doing about his reactivity. We're looking at desensitizing him to the sounds that wind him up, and then teaching him a different way to behave when he does hear something that upsets him. That's all for today, and this is the last one in his series about fostering. So we'll be back again soon with more videos for you, and I'm sure we'll have an update on Floppy before too long as well. That's all for today. Bye for now. Look out for new videos every Monday, and why not subscribe so you don't miss out?